For more than half a century, Queen Elizabeth II has been at the centre of British society. 13 prime ministers have come and gone in her reign. 1-3. Her family has been hit by countless scandals, but the Queen remains unscathed. One reason is that she stays away from politics. She lets politicians make policy and govern. Or at least that's what Britons were led to believe for the longest time. A new report has found that the Queen actively lobbied against a legislation in 1973. What for? Because it would have exposed her immense financial wealth. What's even more worrying is that the government yielded to her demands. Our next report has all the details.
Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest ruling monarch. Her reign began in 1952 and has encompassed 2 successive centuries. During this period, empires collapsed, dictators were toppled, and a superpower imploded. But through it all, Queen Elizabeth II has survived. Her playbook is simple: stay in the shadows of power.
Will embark on an ambitious program of domestic reform.
Never intervene in government affairs. Play the role of a glorified yes-man. For this, the public adores her, the non-interfering monarch. But a new report has revealed that this may not have always been the case. The year is 1973. Edward Heath's government is mulling a new proposal. One that would force front companies to reveal the identity of their clients. As is tradition, the Queen is informed. But the royal household soon realized there was a problem. The Queen herself owned front companies. She used them to hide her enormous wealth. How much? No one knows. But it is estimated to run into hundreds of millions of pounds. If the law was enacted, the Queen's front companies would have been forced to reveal her identity. To avoid this, she broke the most sacred principle of constitutional monarchy. She interfered in governance, not directly, but through her personal lawyer, a certain Matthew Farrer, who relayed the Queen's concerns to the government. Documents from the National Archive detailed the correspondence. The Queen was concerned that her private investments would be published, that the scale of her wealth would become common knowledge. The solution, according to the lawyer, was to exempt her from the law's purview. But this presented a new problem. If the exemption was granted to only one person, it would make identifying the Queen's holdings quite easy. It would be the odd one out. So Edward Heath's government devised a workaround. Exemptions were granted to a whole class of investors: heads of state, heads of government, central bank functionaries, and such. But this was just a technical eyewash. In practice, the new clause was intended for one person, the Queen of England. The draft bill remained on the shelf for 3 more years. Then, in 1976, Harold Wilson's Labour government enacted it. Very few changes were made to the original version. Most importantly, the Queen's secrecy clause was retained. Among the first to receive the exemption was Bank of England Nominees Limited. On paper, it was operated by senior officials at Britain's central bank, but word on the street was that it was the Queen's front company. 4 years ago, the company shut down. As for its holdings, that's still a mystery. Monarchies already appear out of place in modern society. Episodes like this further erode trust in them. Republicans are banging at the gates of Buckingham Palace. This could be the evidence that sways public opinion in their favor. Bureau Report, WION. World is one.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.